Good morning, namaste, bonjour, dignitary on the day, august audience. So many things have been said already. It's difficult to come after so many good speakers, but maybe I will try to bring a little bit of everything which has been said and make a kind of synthesis. So, you know, education is such a big, huge field, but there are so many things to say. And, you know, you have to know that I'm accumulating all the possible evils. I am French, I am a teacher, and I am member of parliament. You know, everything makes that when I start speaking, it's very difficult to stop me. So, let's start with maybe where is the problem coming from, and then we try to move toward what are the solutions and where we should go ahead. So I like to start my speech with a very serious issue. Actually, you know, it's two things: good news and the bad news. The bad news being that you all know Spielberg, the filmmaker, Jurassic Park, and Spielberg, when he was 20 years old, he finished his 12th standard, wanted to study filmmaking at the university in US, and he has been deprived of that because he was considered as unfit academically to fulfill this program. But the good news is that at the age of 50, the same university called him back and gave him an honorary degree in filmmaking. So what does it mean, all that? It means that, you know, the assessment system, the examination system, the way we determine who is going where in the education system, there's something wrong. I took an American example, I could take a French example, and maybe also Indian example. I will not dare to go into that on this stage. So, you know, why is education only looking at the examination and assessment in terms of mark, as the director of NCERT was very clearly mentioning? Why education is something else altogether? Someone was mentioning, UNESCO director was mentioning about the teaching and learning, that maybe the emphasis should be put on learning, and maybe we should forget the teaching part. You know, there was this famous speech of Carl Rogers in 1955 in Harvard. I started, and he really clearly demarcated the teaching and the learning. And in fact, you know, I have tried a lot to teach my cat to speak French. I guess he could never speak French. But you know, my daughter, I never taught her anything. And she speaks French, she speaks Hindi, she speaks English without problem because she learned it. You know? So there is really a big difference between teaching and learning. I think if education was focusing more on the learning part and less on the examination part, maybe we could make some progress in that. You know, I'm running a school which is K-12, and the parents, when they bring their children in KG, they say, first question they ask me, so how much percentage will my child get in 12 standard examination? This is a standard question. So I tell them, maybe this question you can ask to an astrologer, maybe he will tell you. I'm in education, I have no clue on that. But we can speak about the learning curve of your child. So, you know, besides that, what is this exam system based on? It is based on extremely relevant content. You know, the content which is there, what is called the syllabus, the curriculum. You know, for just one example, standard 6 or standard 7 in the content, the children are learning, you know, 11-year-old, 12-year-old children, the name of the organ of the digestive system of the frog. What an important thing to learn, you know, because in our life and all of us, how many times we have used this very precious knowledge that we have got. We have all learned that. How many times we have crossed a frog on the street, which has some, digestive problem, and then we could help this frog, at least verbally. We could not do anything, but. So, examination, content which is learned, how is it learned? Through just rote learning of textbook. Dr. Krishna Kumar, who was your predecessor, rightly said that, the textbook is considered as the Bhagavad Gita or the Bible, and we have really to do away with that. And I think that's one of the most important statements which has been done. So, what is this system producing? There was a study of NASSCOM which has shown that 85% of graduate students are unemployable. 85%. That means 15% are employable. And when you relate that to the fact that the GER is 15%, you see, I know my figure, it looks good to bring percentage and all that, because if I speak only story, you will say, well, this guy doesn't speak seriously. So I bring some figure. 15% GR, that means students who are continuing from 12 to higher education. 85% are dropping. And out of this 15%, 85% are becoming unemployable. That means it's 15% of 15% who are employable at the university level, which make, if my calculations are right, something like 2.5% of the entire population, student population. So there is something also wrong in that. Plus, examination system is there to select, to make selection. So the question is it a proper tool to select? And I remember some incident which had happened in some very famous medical college a few years back. This student was 97%, 98% topper from the board exam of the 12th standard, enrolled in medical, because as you know, there are only two possibilities in India, either engineering or medical. There is nothing else, the world is only these two professions. So this boy, very bright, 98%, enrolled medical, became the gold medalist in the medical college, and in his second, third, or fourth year, he stabbed his roommate with a knife. He killed his roommate. This guy was there to go to a profession to help people, to cure people, to help their health. Could not even help his roommate, with whom he was sharing his room. And not only he could not help him, he killed him. So, again, what is the meaning of that? What was the selection process? Was the selection process proper or improper? In the same way, for example, when we have civil servant, what are we expecting from them? Devotion for the people, to serve the people. They are servants. They are supposed to serve people. And obviously, we are expecting rigorous and honesty and whatever. Is there anything in the assessment, in the examination, which select these people, which look at this value and which ensure that we are getting the proper people at the proper post? And we can take any profession like that. So, basically the problem is the selection system, examination system. We have an education system which is only polarized on that, the final examination, and the entire education right from KG till 12 is to prepare this examination. We make drill of examination in KG and standard 1 and standard 2. Why? The assessment in education, the assessment is there to help. It's a point of reference. We have a learning curve and we just look at one point, is it reached or not? But this is at the end of the process. It is called summative assessment. It is at the end of the process to see if the learning has taken place or not. Here we are starting the other way around. In KG we start with examination. It's like if we are walking on the head, Everything is upside down. So now that we have looked at some of the evil of education, we can look at where we can go from that. So obviously the first thing is Focus on learning instead of teaching, maybe. Focus on education instead of examination. And then the rest will follow, it will happen. Maybe there is a need to select, to choose the proper person to go to, but then we can look at a more holistic way of assessment, which is important, where we look at the development of the skill, look at the development of the understanding. You know, our minister has very rightly pointed out the development of the technology in our world, and it is just the beginning. We are the archaeology of the, he was speaking of the iPad. It is the archaeology of the iPad today. We have no clue on what it will be after 10 years. It will be three-dimensional, 5 senses, everything will be there. Now, there is a question. If everything is in this machine, then why do we need teacher? You know, teacher is the biggest, largest profession in the world. So, if the teacher becomes redundant, then we'll be facing a problem, even at the employment level, you know. We'll have a lot of unemployed people. But it's true that there is a need for a shift of, total shift of paradigm. Why? Because the teacher cannot be anymore the provider of knowledge. Why? Very simple reason. You know, maybe you don't know, but I am the biggest expert on Earth. I know everything. You ask me any question, I can answer you. But ask me a question, tell me, I will give you the answer. It is there. And believe me, I'm very bad at that, actually. Don't ask me the question, it was just a joke. But the children, they are much better than me at this game. So we don't beat them. So the question is, then what are we doing? And in this August assembly, most of us are in education, because we are in a summit about education. So we have to question, what is our future in that? The minister was speaking about the future of the children, that's true, but our future, we are still there. So what can be our role? But the good news is that, don't worry, our role is very important, still very important. Because there are things that we can do and no machine can do. You know, absolutely no machine can do. And which is why it's true that we have to integrate all the technology, which will evolve, explode, which will become the main thing. And the children, they will be much better than us at that. Don't try to beat them on that. Don't try to challenge them on that. They will be faster. But there are things that we can bring, which is a value system, which is a skill development, because the skill, you know, we can develop them while practicing. Nevertheless, on your tablet, you know, it's still one person to one object. And what is missing is really the human relationship. It's really this affectivity that we can bring, this is the experience that we can bring. This is a mistake that we are allowed to do. You know, so we have to concentrate on the skill. However, you know, there was this boy who was, these two boys, they was in the forest. And one was the smart one, good in maths. The other one was a more laid-back boy, you know. And they was roaming in the forest, and suddenly, both of them, they are just facing a big bear, you know, grizzly bear, you know, Baloo. Of course, they are scared. And this guy, a smart boy, he said, you know, this Baloo will take 12 seconds to reach us. And at that time, the other one was quietly changing his shoes. And he said, but are you mad? You cannot run faster than him. He said, no, I don't need to run faster than the bear. I just need to run faster than you. So this one had some survival instinct. The other one was smart, but you know, he was missing something. So I think I've taken a lot of time. In the next session, I will have occasion to show you practice in the classroom, how we can really, through the pedagogy, because the tool, essential tool, and it is where we have a role to play. It is through the pedagogy, the methodology that we will bring in the classroom, the way we will use all this machine and all this apparatus, and how we can do the thing. I will have some for the one who will sustain the entire exercise in the next session.